Now, this right here, I will say this. Do not ever pre-order anything from LS Studio ever again. Do not do it, okay? Do not do it. At this point, I am pretty firmly convinced that LS Studio is just a massive scam. The whole LS Studio thing doesn't really make any sense because if they were rated by Bandai, right? If they were rated by Bandai, and the whole idea of them trying to trying to lay low, trying to be quiet or whatever, that doesn't make any sense, to be completely honest with you, okay? And this is why. If you were rated by Bandai, right? Think about this logically. Like, actually just think logically here. If you were rated by Bandai for making unofficial Dragon Ball figures, right? Why would you then put up the same exact product for pre-order again? Why would you do that? Like, logically speaking, just like think for a moment here. Logically, why would you do that again? The exact same product. It's not a different product, not a different character, the exact same product. You would get rated by Bandai and put up the exact same product for pre-order again? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any logical sense. And here's another point about that. They didn't even change their name. It's not like Kong that has like 20 names at this point, right? They didn't even change their name. How could you get rated by Bandai, the police are involved in all this stuff or whatever, dude, and you didn't even change your name? Someone who's trying to lay low, someone who's trying to be quiet and stuff, doesn't keep the exact same name and sell the exact same product or put the exact same product up for pre-order again after getting rated. And then this one here, this other comment, the only news I know is they are trying to stay low, but not a canceled project. Okay? Once again, contradicting what Treasure Toys said and what Haro Toys store said. They said the factory has canceled the production of this product. They didn't say delayed, but this person said it's not canceled, and then trying to stay low. Once again, I'm going to mention this again. You don't try to lay low, okay? After getting rated by Bandai, allegedly, rated by the police, allegedly, you don't try to lay low after getting rated by keeping the same name and putting up the same exact product for pre-order again. That's not how you lay low. If that's how you lay low, then I would have to say you're not really employing a lot of brain power. Alright guys, welcome back to the Dragon Ball figure recap. Yes, I am aware that there is some strange activity going on regarding the LS Studio Gohan figure. I will be talking about that in great detail in the third party section, okay? So I will be talking about that. As usual, first of all, we're going to talk about official SH Figuarts. So for premium scam die, we have the Nightmare Raccoon here, $85. I don't see any pre-order closing date for this yet. And as you already know, if you follow these recaps, I do not recommend buying anything from premium scam die. Well, not pre-order anything from them. I just think we should not encourage them in this, just their horrible anti-consumer nonsense, right? Like, first of all, these disgusting price tags, and then no exchanges or returns are accepted. So I feel like personally with basically all premium scam die pre-orders going forward, my mentality, my thought process is wait for a bootleg, wait for a third-party clone, wait for an unofficial version, whatever. Just like don't buy from this website. Just don't do it. So Dragon Ball Figures on Instagram posted some images here saying that the Raccoon is on display, or was on display in Paris at the Japan Expo. Okay, so here we have a look at this Raccoon figure, a prototype or whatever, right? And I mean, as I said before, I generally like how the figure looks, apart from the lack of shading and detail. Look how plain this is. Like, if there's any shading on this thing, dude, it's so difficult to tell, it's not even worth talking about. Look how plain this is. And look at the price tag. $85, right? You're charging $85 for this thing, and you're still too lazy to put some good shading on this thing, man. You're still too lazy to shade this thing. Like, it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable, okay? And I'm actually going to show you later what a figure like this, in fact, the normal Raccoon, I'm going to show you what that figure would look like if it actually had good shading. I'm actually going to show you. I'm not just going to tell you. I'm going to show you what that Raccoon figure would look like if it actually had good shading and actually deserved to be in a line that calls itself premium, okay? We're going to be looking at that later. So you have that. Then you have this right here. This Goku. Is this the Fighter of Rage Goku? If it is, his hair looks kind of different. I think his hair looks different than before. I guess they've changed his hair or something. I don't know. Then you've got that little overpriced Krillin. Look at that tiny thing, dude. That little ridiculous nonsense. $80 for that little nonsense. Let's see here. Then you've got this right here. Okay. And they've got the Frieza hair as well. The universe's bottomless power. I think this figure, you know, like sculpt-wise, it might be, you know, decent, you know, kind of good-ish. Not like perfect, but like, you know, obviously way better. Well, it's better than the 1.0, I would say. But still, look at how plain this is. No, I can't see. Dude, is there any shading on this thing at all? I can't see any, right? So plain, no shading or anything, okay? A so-called premium line should not be this plain, dude. Like, you have to, like, dude, seriously. Look at this, right? Another image here, kind of blurry, but I don't see any shading on this thing at all. There might be some subtle something, but nothing worth talking about, okay? Then we have this as well. All right. And I'm actually thinking about making a video in the future, possibly the near future, going over like what SH Figuarts would actually look like if they had good shading, like actually showing you what they would look like, okay? I'm thinking about actually making a video about that in the near future, so that might be on my list of things to upload. Yeah, so got that right there. You know, I mean, I like the fact that at least some of the, well, these are not painted. These are not painted at all, but he does have some scratches here. So why would they not, like, why are these molded? You see, I don't know if this is molded and painted or just painted, because if this is not molded, but it's painted, why would you not just paint the stuff that is molded? Because look, this stuff is like molded, it seems, right? These scratches or whatever. Why would you not just paint that instead of adding other stuff that's not molded? Bandai's just ridiculous, man. Bandai's just like such a horrible company, dude. And you know, the thing is too, like, you know, people like, I saw someone, I think one time, saying that the reason why Bandai charges such ridiculous prices for Dragon Ball figures is because the Dragon Ball license is expensive. They're trying to like justify Bandai's prices by saying, oh, it's the license, dude. The license is expensive. That argument also doesn't work, because even Bandai's figures for other licenses are ridiculously overpriced as well. Like the Street Fighter Ryu figure is on Big Bad Toy Store right now. The listed price is $80 and it's on sale, okay? So $80 is the price that it originally was. Storm Arena Ryu was $29.99. Right now it's $34.99. Storm Arena has increased some prices recently. I probably won't talk about it on this channel that much, because this channel is not really like a Street Fighter channel. But anyways, let's say $34.99 for the Storm Arena Ryu. Jada Toys Ryu is like $24 or something, right? SH Figuarts $80 looks worse than the Storm Arena, and it's not that far from the Jada Toys. So it's clear that it's not the license that requires these overpriced figures. It's Bandai, okay? They overprice their Street Fighter figures. They overprice their Dragon Ball figures. They overprice their like kaiju figures and stuff. Like with kaiju figures, I've seen like Haya. Haya also makes kaiju figures. And their figures, from what I've seen, dude, are like almost always like basically half the price of Bandai. And they basically look the same level of quality. So it's not the license. It's not the license. It's Bandai. It's that company specifically. Bandai is a greedy company, okay? Stop trying to find some other explanation, some other alternative, some other solution. The answer is very simple. Bandai is a greedy, money-grubbing company, okay? Because if they weren't, then their other figures that are not Dragon Ball would not also be overpriced. You understand? If it was the Dragon Ball license that was causing these prices, then their Street Fighter figures would have better prices, their kaiju figures would have better prices, and then you'd be like, oh, it's Dragon Ball. That's the thing, it's Dragon Ball's license. No. Even their other figures, those figures are also being made by other companies. Those licenses are also being made by other companies for decent prices. So clearly Bandai can make these figures for decent prices and not scalping, scamming garbage. But Bandai chooses to scam you, okay? It's Bandai. The problem is Bandai. It's not the license. That excuse doesn't work either, okay? Stop trying to defend Bandai, man. So moving on, I wanted to show this once again. This is the Storm Arena Biscuit Oliva, like a prototype, right? Look at the shading on this thing. Look at the detail, all that stuff, and compare that to this plain garbage over here. This Raccoon figure, right? $85 for this. $85. Look at that plain, basic looking nonsense. And then look at this, which is probably going to be about somewhere between 35 to like 45, I would guess, as a like price range for this thing, okay? That's what I'd guess is the price range for this. And look how much more incredible. Even the sculpt, dude. Even the sculpt looks incredible. You see that? It looks like a statue with joints. That's basically how good it looks. And I actually noticed that with Storm's, their prototype, well, like kind of a prototype statue thing for Yuichiro Hanma, Yujiro's father, Yujiro Hanma's father, it seems that what they do is they actually make a statue and then they add joints to the statue. That's how seriously they take their artistic craft. They make an incredible looking statue and then engineer joints into that statue, okay? Whereas Bandai's over here making these Toys R Us exclusives and charging ridiculous prices. Just nonsense. So this is awesome stuff. This is what a premium action figure actually looks like, okay? If you want to call something premium, it better look like this, okay? Moving on, I also wanted to show this. Another massive character, right? Zangief, huge character. $42.99 for the Storm Arena Zangief, okay? And look at the shading in the muscles and stuff, man. Okay, let's get this. Let's zoom in here. Look at the shading in the muscles and stuff, right? See all that detail? That's what SH Figuarts should look like. Look at this, okay? Look at this. And then look at this plain nonsense over here for $85, right? Bandai's just scamming people, dude. You can't defend this nonsense. Oh, we're getting... Oh, hold on. So look at this, okay? And then you have this right here as well. See all the shading and the detail and the muscles and stuff like that, man. Okay? SH Figuarts should have this kind of detail. You see? This is what SH Figuarts should be looking like if you want to charge people $85 and all these ridiculous prices. This is what you should be making, man. Right? Not that basic, plain-looking garbage and asking for $85. Right? Look at that. Look at all that detail right there. All that shading and stuff. Look at the sculpt and everything, dude. Right? Awesome musculature and everything. Look at that, right? This is what SH Figuarts should be. Look at that right there, okay? And I recently saw LPZZ as well, and the figures that I saw actually look really incredible as well. So I think LPZZ is another like top tier artistic like figure line kind of thing going on. So yeah, look at this, man, right? $42.99, and then you got this plain garbage over here for 80 whatever dollars. It's not the license, it is Bandai. Bandai is a greedy, money grubbing company. Understand that and accept the truth. All right, so now this is by Bad Bear Custom on Instagram, right? They actually like repaint SH Figuarts figures to give them like good shading, good detail, all that kind of stuff. And look at how awesome this looks. You see how much better the Raccoon figure would look if it actually had good detail? You see, if it actually had good shading and stuff, right? SH Figuarts should be applying this kind of detail and shading and stuff to their figures to justify these disgusting prices, right? You can't be charging people $85 and giving them this plain Toys R Us, Walmart, Kmart nonsense, okay? You see, Bandai gets away with this because they have absolutely no competition regarding Dragon Ball. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. Like, for example, the SH Figuarts Ryu is on sale on Big Bad Toy Store. And why is it on sale? Well, I think it's probably on sale because basically no one's going to be buying that for $80 when the Storm Arena Ryu for like, let's say $30 to $35 looks better, okay? Looks better than that, and Bandai's charging $80, dude. It's not the license, it's Bandai. The problem is Bandai, okay? So look at that, looks really cool, right? Looks way better than the official figure. Then you have this as well, another look at that, right? This right here, you see that, man? You want to call something art? You want to talk about figure art? You should be adding this artistic detail to the figures, adding good shading and stuff like that to justify your disgusting prices. Got this right here, right? Look at that. Then we've got this. Look how much better that figure would look. It would actually look like it deserves to be called art, right? If it actually had this kind of detail, right? Look at that. You got this. Okay. And they have like other SH Figuarts figures that they've repainted and stuff on their Instagram. And if I do make a video about it, I want to like highlight other figures they've made as well, or like other custom, you know, paint and stuff they've applied to the figures. So you got this. Look at that, right? Now it looks like an actual artistic collectible, right? And not like a plain Kmart aisle 6 plain Toys R Us nonsense, right? Yeah. Finally, you got that right there. And then look at the official Raccoon. $72 in 2021. So if you adjust for inflation, that'll probably be like what? I don't know. Let's say $75 or $80 today. And look how plain this is. You want to charge people $72 for this plain basic nonsense, right? You should be actually applying detail like this if you want to charge those kinds of prices, man. Okay? Nonsense. You can't defend this garbage. Moving on now. So, more premium scam die stuff. The Gogeta thing is still here for SDCC 2026, $80. Gotenks, SDCC 2026, $70. And the mini Super Saiyan Goku DAIMA, $50, the same SDCC 2026 thing. Alright. Now moving on to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, etc. So, the adult DAIMA Goku is still here, $31.99 from Amazon. Barnes & Noble has it as well for $38 in stock. And Barnes & Noble has free shipping on orders $60 or more. Okay. The mini Goku here, this, I'm only seeing third-party sellers for this, so this is still unavailable directly from Amazon.com. Barnes & Noble has the adult DAIMA Vegeta here for $38 in stock. I believe Amazon is out of stock, and that tab was just like malfunctioning, so I just closed it, but I didn't see any like direct Amazon.com listing for that. The mini Vegeta right here from Amazon.com directly, $38. I don't see any coupon or anything like that right now. For Piccolo DAIMA, Amazon has it here $66.75, so the whole limited time deal, like what is it, like $56 or something like that, that is now gone. And the mini Piccolo here, $41.59, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. I don't see any like coupon offer or whatever like usual, like I have in the past. Shenron here, 120, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. And let's see here. Oh, by the way, this website here, this is dbzshv.com. Just so you know, that's where I saw that from. Anyways, where are we at now? Yeah, so Shenron, the Proud Namekian Piccolo right here, 8370, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. This figure, like, the price has been all over the place. At least it's not over $100 anymore, but 8370 is still way too much for this. I guess the reason why the price for this changes so much is because Amazon is doing this so-called dynamic pricing nonsense where they like increase the price based on demand and all that garbage. So, you know, Amazon is not a true retailer. Just like Big Bad Toy Store, Ringside Collectibles, they do this price manipulation nonsense, okay? They're basically scalpers. They're basically scalping companies that masquerade as retailers, okay? True retailers, like actual retailers, have a retail price that they sell the product at, and they don't like change their prices and adjust their prices and stuff like that to like exploit people based on demand, okay? That's what people do on eBay, Mercari, that kind of stuff. But of course, now it seems that basically for the most part, so-called retail these days is basically just eBay scalpers. Like, they're all just eBay scalpers now, and you can't really find true retailers who you can trust to get the original retail price from, okay? Once upon a time, you could like trust a retailer to have a certain price if you buy it from them, right? Let's say the price of this is $75. You didn't have to worry about the price going up to $80 next week or up to $90 a month from now. You didn't have to worry about that before, but now because they're greedy scalpers, right? Just price manipulation and stuff like that, they're basically acting like eBay resellers, okay? So unfortunate to see that, but that is how the world has transformed for the worse. Continuing now, First Form Frieza and the Pod, $98, being released on November 14th, 2026. The Universe's Bottomless Power Frieza, $37.99, being released on December 25th, 2026. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, this is now gone from Amazon.com directly. I only see like third-party sellers and Amazon resale. Barnes & Noble does have it though, I believe. Yeah, they still have it here for $68 in stock, and of course it's above $60, so that's free shipping on that. Best Buy though is sold out. Okay, so Best Buy is gone, Amazon is gone. So I mean, I don't know if this will be restocked again. I would expect it to be, but the Fighter of Rage Goku is being released soon, so possibly not. So I mean, if you want this figure, this might be like a time to get it instead of waiting anymore, because I mean, Amazon's gone, Best Buy is gone. Barnes & Noble might be gone in the near future, and I don't know who else has it. Other people might have it, but just letting you know, if you want this, it might make sense to buy it sooner rather than later, because it has gone, is sold out, Amazon and Best Buy. All right. So, Son Gohan Z Fighters, limited edition group-based version A thing, $70, being released on February 19th, 2027. Boy from the Future Trunks, $75.99, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. This Trunks here, the Latent Power Trunks, $38, being released on October 23rd, 2026. The same figure, $35, shipped and sold from, well, it's from Barnes & Noble right here in stock. And same figure once again. This is not a pre-order. This one's a pre-order, right? Yeah, this was a pre-order. But this one is in stock at Amazon, $35.99. This Krillin, the Earth's Strongest Man, being released on August 14th, 2026, $65.10. Games Begin Goku, $35.99, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. And this same figure here, $38 in stock, sold by Barnes & Noble. This Gohan here, I still don't see an Amazon.com direct listing for this, only third-party sellers. Dangerous Pride Vegeta is available now, of course, $35.99, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. I reviewed this recently. You can see my review on my channel. Same figure right here, $38, but this will be released from Barnes & Noble. It says July 15th, 2026, okay? So it's not out yet from them. This is a pre-order. The 2.0 Vegeta, still no Amazon.com direct listing for this, only third-party sellers or Amazon resale. And Barnes & Noble has the same figure though, $35 in stock right now. It says ships in 1 to 2 days. Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, $33.13, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. Same figure, $38 from Barnes & Noble right here in stock. Kind-Hearted Saiyan Goku is now gone from Amazon.com directly. I only see like third-party sellers and stuff. And the Best Buy listing, as I mentioned before, is also sold out. Let's see here. First Form Cell reissue, $68.83, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. So the price has gone down a bit, I think. 14% off, it says. Barnes & Noble has it, though, $80 in stock right now. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, shipped and sold from Amazon.com, $55.78. GameStop has the same figure for $61.99 or $58.89 for pros. And it says zip or pay in installments as low as $16.50. Free shipping on orders $79 plus, okay? Super Buu reissue being released on January 22nd, 2027. Shipped and sold by Amazon.com. Unwavering Saiyan Pride Vegeta, $38 in stock, shipped and sold by Amazon.com right there. Barnes & Noble has the same figure, $38 in stock right now. Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black reissue right here, $39.99 from GameStop or $37.99 for pros. Zip or pay in installments as low as $11. All right. This Broly is still gone from Amazon.com directly, so there's that. Best Buy is also now sold out, not available here anymore either. So the last thing right here, we have GameStop. GameStop does still have it for $99.99 or $94.99 for pros. Zip or pay in installments as low as $26. Of course, free shipping since it's above $79. So, I mean, just like the legendary Super Saiyan Goku, if you want this figure, it might make sense to get it very soon before, like, let's say GameStop sells out as well. I don't know whether it will be reissued again. I think the chance of that might be somewhat slim, because I think this took like many years to get even like one reissue, I think. So there's that. But there is also supposed to be a bootleg of this being released in the near future, I assume. So you could wait for that and see whether the quality is decent or whatever. It's really up to you. I can't guarantee anything regarding like the quality control of that bootleg. So it's really up to you, If you want the official figure, it looks like the clock is, running down basically on getting it from like, let's say official stores, official so-called retailers, right? Because I don't know if GameStop does scalping as well. I'm not even sure. Let's see here. So this Red Goku here recently released in China and Japan, and Treasure Toys actually does have this available. I'm going to show that in a moment. But being released on September 15th, 2026, $35.99, shipped and sold by Amazon.com. Treasure Toys right here, they do have that figure, as I said, $47.40 free shipping, which I think is a pretty solid price. I mean, like, the figure's basically like in the US, like $38, that kind of price. So you're paying like, what, $9 shipping, basically, approximately something like that. So not that bad, I don't think at all. So if you want this early, it says ship immediately. This, of course, is like the Chinese release, I assume, not the US release or that kind of thing. Because I think there's like a Chinese release, a Japanese release, there's a US release. I don't know if there are other like releases with different languages. Like, I don't know if the Chinese releases have actual Chinese language on the box. I don't know. But this is from Treasure Toys on AliExpress, okay? And then the 2.0 version of that Goku, I think this was reissued recently, $31.99. It says clearance here from Best Buy. It says $5.49 shipping, or it also says sign in or create an account for free shipping, okay? Barnes & Noble also has the same figure right here, $38 in stock. And the Blue Goku, the 4.0, that's going to be released in October. It says released in October. It will be released on October 14th, 2026, $35.99. That, of course, is the US release. But if you want it early, Treasure Toys does have it here on AliExpress for pre-order. The Chinese release, I assume. It says shipping on July. Now, I don't know why the price for this one is higher than the red one. This one's $47.40. This one is $53.54. Don't know why there's a price difference there, but just keep that in mind. And the Blue 2.0 Goku right here, Barnes & Noble has it for $38 in stock right now. Piccolo Superhero Reissue, $37.99, being released on October 23rd, 2026 from Amazon right here, Amazon.com. The GT Kid Goku, $40.20 from Amazon.com, so not as low of a price as before, but still quite a bit of a discount, 26% off it says. And Barnes & Noble has it here for $54 in stock right now. Now let's move on to the third-party stuff. Alright, so first we've got Black Shark here. As usual, making Bandai look like just cheap, you know, just lazy, poor quality garbage, as they often do, okay? Like, this is what Black Shark basically does with these face sculpts. So we've got this image here of Black Shark working on like a happy, smiling Goku. I think it looks very, very similar. Like, it's like something is slightly missing to me. Like it looks good, but something is slightly off and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I think someone in the comments mentioned that like these hair sculpts and stuff shouldn't have so many lines to more so resemble how the anime, like, you don't really see detail really in black hair. It's more just like usually like just solid black. So adding the lines and stuff does, you know, make a different kind of aesthetic than the anime typically has, or the anime has, you know. So there's that. But of course, I mean, even like this looks good. I mean, it looks very solid, you know. I do think something slightly off. I'm not sure what it is though. But even so, this looks way better than Bandai. You know, I think the 1.0 Goku might have had a decent smiling expression. The Saiyan Raised on Earth might look decent as well, but certainly you can tell like there's a higher artistic standard with this than with those. You know, I think like those look a bit more basic, you know, but they don't look like horrible to me necessarily, right? But the SDCC 2024 one, dude, like this right here, I think this is probably the most atrocious looking smiling Goku face sculpt, like happy, you know, eyes like that Goku that Bandai's ever made. I mean, I think the superhero has like a smirk, but it's more like a kind of like a serious-ish, like a fighting kind of smirk, not really like a completely happy kind of smirk like this. So like a jolly kind of smirk, you know. So this right here, dude, this stuff is atrocious. Like absolutely abominable to me. It just looks horrible. Like you can't even see his nose, dude. Like this looks so horrible. And I'm like, who is Bandai paying to make this garbage? That's what I want to know. How are they actually paying people, right, to make a happy Goku expression? And then they produce this garbage right here. And the manager or whoever is like, hey, yeah, totally, we approve this, let's go. The reason they get away with this lazy garbage is because they have no competition, okay? Third-party stuff, they're not competing at Walmart. They're not competing at Target, Big Bad Toy Store, whatever other, you know, so-called retailers. If they're scalping at all, I don't consider them true retailers. But, you know, so-called retailers, right? They're not competing at those kind of stores and stuff like that. Or even Amazon. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen third-party stuff on Amazon. If it's ever been there, of course, it's probably being sold by like third-party sellers or whatever. But I don't think I've ever seen third-party Dragon Ball figures on Amazon, personally. But like, the reason they get away with this is because they have no competition, okay? Bandai knows that if you want this Goku right here, you have to get it from them, okay? So since they're the only option in town, What does that mean? They're going to give you low effort trash, and they know that you have to buy it from them if you want it, okay? It's like if you live in a rural area, right? You live in a rural area, and there's only like one company in your area that provides you internet service in your area, right? What does that mean? That means that if you want internet access, okay, you have to buy it from that company. That's the case with Dragon Ball figures right now, okay? Official Dragon Ball figures. If you want official Dragon Ball figures, you have to buy them from Bandai. And because they have no competition, they have very little incentive, okay? Naturally speaking, very little incentive to give you great value for your money. They're like, well, since we're the only option, we know we're basically guaranteed this business. We're guaranteed these sales. So let's put in as little effort as we can while making it look kind of decent-ish to get people to buy it, but not giving them really great value. When companies have competition, they actually have to try to outprice each other and stuff like that, okay? They have to be like, okay, these guys are offering this figure for, let's say, $40. If we offer ours for $35, we should be able to get more sales than them, or like take sales away from them or whatever. You see, competition makes companies adjust their pricing, adjust their business practices, and that kind of stuff like that, okay? As we're currently seeing with the Storm Arena Ryu, the Jada Toys Ryu, and the SH Figuarts Ryu. Storm Arena, I don't think Storm Arena would exist if Jada Toys didn't exist, okay? But Jada Toys kind of, you know, in recent times at least, pioneered having, you know, kind of solid Street Fighter figures. I think some are better than others, but having, you know, pretty much solid Street Fighter figures for low prices and stuff like that, getting, you know, pretty good value for your money. And Storm Collectibles was like, wait a minute, people really like Jada Toys. They're getting a lot of sales, getting a lot of business. What if we were to capitalize on that market as well? And so they then stopped, you know, focusing only on those, like, you know, basically 1/10 scale, like $100 figures or whatever, and started actually producing smaller figures for lower prices. And now, because of Jada Toys having basically started that in recent times, we now have awesome looking Storm Arena figures for lower prices, you see? So Jada Toys basically inspired Storm Arena to offer better prices for products, okay? And now we see with the SH Figuarts Ryu, it's currently on sale, last I checked, for $40 on Toy Arena. That's down from $80. Down from 80 to 40, a 50% price cut. And on Big Bad Toy Store, I think it's on sale for like $62 or something like that, like 60 something dollars, I think. So why is that happening? Why is the SH Figuarts Ryu being heavily discounted? Because people are buying Jada Toys and Storm Arena and not the overpriced SH Figuarts, okay? So if Bandai had actual competition for Dragon Ball figures, another company making solid figures for good prices, then we would see way more sales on SH Figuarts, way better sales, because people would realize, the, you know, so-called retailers would realize, they'd be like, hey man, SH Figuarts aren't selling as well as they did before because people are buying the Jada Toys, they're buying the Storm Arena, they're buying the whatever, and they don't want to pay $80 for a figure that looks worse than the Storm Arena, you know, and doesn't look that much better than the Jada Toys. If Bandai had that kind of competition for Dragon Ball, we would be in a much better position as collectors. So people will defend Bandai and say, oh, you know, it's because of this, it's because of that, blah, 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 blah. The reason you have to try to explain Bandai's prices, the reason you have to defend Bandai's prices, the reason you have to try to find some solution, some explanation is because they're scamming you, okay? No one has to try to rationalize Jada Toys' prices. You don't see anyone breaking down Jada Toys' prices saying, oh, well, it's because of this, it's because of that, blah, blah, blah. No one has to do that because the prices are reasonable. When the prices are not reasonable, that's when people have to defend it, okay? So if you see people defending the prices of certain products and stuff like that and trying to explain it away, that likely means 99% chance you're getting scammed. And the people who want to, like, you know, love the company and say thank you Tamashi and stuff like that, those people now have to try to you know, rush to the defense of the company, okay? That sort of thing doesn't happen when the prices are reasonable, because people are like, okay, this is a good price, solid figure, whatever. But when you're scamming people, a lot of people are going to be like, dude, this is overpriced, this is a scam, whatever, whatever. And then the, like, you know, the Bandai army has to now try to defend Bandai, okay? So if you see that happening, a bunch of people trying to explain away prices, provide justification or whatever, it's probably because you're getting scammed. And that's the case with Dragon Ball. So let's move on now to this other image here. Another image here of Goku, you know, kind of like shocked or something like that. Pretty solid stuff. Pretty solid stuff. But you know what? I will mention though, with Black Shark, their physical products, to me, actually look better than the renders. So I expect that if Black Shark were to, like, say, like, you know, 3D print this or manufacture this or whatever and, you know, apply color and stuff, it'll probably look better than this render. I will say though, regarding like the hair texture stuff, you also notice the tongue. Like Goku's tongue here doesn't have that line, but here it has a line. So they've added a bit more realism, I guess, to this, rather as opposed to how the anime looks. I think I would personally rather if it just looked just like the anime, like say the tongue was just like this, the hair didn't have as many lines or any lines at all, that kind of stuff. I think black hair, in the anime at least, black hair, like I think it's always like just like jet black. You like hardly ever, if ever, see these kind of lines and stuff. So I can see that. And then this right here, this will probably look really awesome once a Black Shark makes a physical product and adds color and that kind of stuff. So way better than Bandai, of course. You're not going to see Bandai really making stuff like this. I don't think Bandai's... I think the 1.0 had a kind of face sculpt kind of similar to this. But since then, I don't think Bandai's made like a really like goofy, artistic face sculpt for Goku, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And you can notice that with Bandai, it seems that like as the line has gone on, Bandai puts in less and less effort. You know, when they first started, they had a bunch of accessories and stuff. They had better shading on the figures. The 1.0 Goku had like, you know, these expressive face sculpts and stuff like that, you know. And now they put in less effort because they're complacent and lazy, because they know that they've established their name as like, oh, SH Figuarts. So anything they release, they're basically guaranteed to get a bunch of sales, because people are like, oh, this is SH Figuarts. But I do think that more people in recent times are starting to realize how much of a scam Bandai is, okay? So we've got this right here. Let's see. So this, yeah, looks pretty spot on, man. I mean, I think that looks pretty much exactly like that. Like, I don't think there's even any real deviation. Like, this is really spot on. If I wanted to, like, nitpick, I guess, like, you see this line right here. I don't see that third line over here, but, like, you know, it's not a big deal. You know, it's just, like, one line. But this is very solid, man. Like, this is cool. Now, I don't know whether Black Shark is including these with the current pre-order, which we'll talk about in the AliExpress section, or if these are going to be a separate like head sculpt kit or something. I personally would prefer for them to be a separate head sculpt kit, because I don't really care about the body of their Goku they're making right now. It has those ugly Gain Begin hips that I don't really care about. So if I bought that, I'd be buying, you know, a body that I don't have any use for, really. So there's that. But if the price, of course, of the head sculpt kit is decent, not like, you know, I don't know, just some ridiculous price for like 2 face sculpts or something, like GM Studio, that kind of stuff, you know, like just that kind of low value kind of thing. Like I'd like to see good value with the set if they were to make a separate set, you know. So moving on now, and regarding GM Studio, like as I mentioned a few weeks ago, if we give them like a $10 shipping break, a $20 shipping break, then it does help the price a lot. But as I thought about it more, I'm like, but if I compare GM Studio to other products like the Air HM Beast Gohan stuff, the Air OQ Ultra Vegeta stuff, I'm like, man, if you compare it to similar products on the market, the value is like really poor in comparison. So although the numerical value of the number, let's say you give them a $20 shipping break and it works out like $20 for the product, right? Even though $20 is not a lot, the value is still like way worse than like TK Custom, the Broly stuff, Air OQ, whatever. Like the value compared to other similar products is really bad. So that's really where I'm, you know, looking at that from, not from the numerical value itself, but from how much stuff you get for that value. Okay. So here we have this as well, and they're actually making some like fighting face sculpts, man. So that is good to see. Before it was all kind of like happy stuff, I think. So this is cool to see, and that looks pretty cool. You know, I think, as I said, I expect these to look better as physical products than as renders, but clearly they're making this stuff look like the actual anime, movie, whatever that is. I'm not sure what movie or anime that is. Then you've got this right here, right? And this is what Bandai should be doing, right? Bandai should actually be aiming to make their face sculpts and stuff look like the anime, the movie, the manga, movies, manga, whatever, you know? You got this. Now, I don't see a reference for this, so I don't know. But yeah, it looks solid, dude. Looks better than Bandai, of course. You know, I think Lowest Born Saiyan, I said before, is like a, you know, a solid like Saiyan Saga aesthetic. But apart from that, Bandai generally does a pretty generic job with the face sculpt. So this is very cool to see. I look forward to seeing how these look as actual like physical products, because I think they'll look even better. Now, Bloodfang Studio, which is just like Kong's new name, I assume, right? So Kong right here. So the Omega Shenron, they're working on this. It says it's set to release in Q4 2026, okay? With additional effects, sculpt bonus, and more variants, okay? Gonna be like shown soon. So yeah, I think this looks cool. I think Kong has done a pretty good job with the sculpt of this, at least in render form, and even the physical form I've seen, yeah. So I think they've done a pretty good job with this. I think it looks really solid. You know, awesome sculpt and that kind of stuff. Probably won't have good shading, as basically all SH Figuarts suffer from. But, you know, or like SH Figuarts third-party figures or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, very solid. Looks cool to me. I like the sculpt of this. I like the look of this. I think they did a very good job. But as I said before, I don't buy Kong figures. They have just way too many quality control problems. Just figures breaking and snapping and stuff. I don't buy their stuff, man. So you've got this right here. Cool. I think a lot of people like this placeholder head sculpt and want this to actually be, you know, basically properly colored and stuff, so they can have it on the figure too. I can see that. To me, it reminds me of like the Devil May Cry video game. Like, it looks like a character from that series or something. You've got this right here. Cool. Got the yelling, I guess neutral, like a grin. Now, these two are basically the same, I think. I think these are the exact same image. So I don't know why they've shown this twice. But yeah, I mean, the yelling expression here looks kind of decent. I mean, I know Kong is known for doing a very poor job with their yelling expressions, but that looks pretty solid right there. So they might have actually done a pretty good job with this one. Okay, and then we've got, here's a physical prototype, right? Right there. Cool. I mean, I think this looks very solid, man. Very good job. If this had great shading, dude, if this had actually like great shading, it would look absolutely fantastic. It would basically look like a statue with joints, like Storm Arena kind of level, you know? So very cool. Very good job sculpt wise. Whoever sculpted that, man, they did a very good job. I have to say that. You've got this, looks solid as well. Awesome looking stuff, man. That looks really cool. And I don't even like, I'm not, as I said, I'm not a fan of Kong or anything like that, but I have to say, this looks solid, man. Then we have this. Looks cool as well. Has a sword there. I'm assuming the sword is probably like from Dragon Ball Heroes or something, because I don't think Omega Shenron ever had a sword in Dragon Ball GT. You got this. Cool. Looks good. Got this as well. Okay, I noticed there's no toe hinge. I don't see any toe hinge there. So there's that. I don't really care about toe hinges that much, to be honest. I think I barely use them, but yeah, you got this. Okay. This as well. Yeah, very solid stuff. A different look at that same pose, I assume, from before. Cool. And then this. Yeah. The elbow doesn't seem to bend that far, though. Probably only about 90, I guess, here. And then here he is next to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Okay. So, yeah. So it says sculpt updates of the legs, shoulders, and engineering joints are almost complete. There will be more testings of the variants soon, including white pale version, which I assume is like, you know, just regular Omega Shenron from GT. I assume the black version was like Dragon Ball Heroes or something like that. I'm not sure. And then for DDG, Treasure Toys posted this in their Treasure News thing right here. I think we've seen this a while ago, and I apologize if you hear like thunder in the background. The weather's like, you know, there's some thunder going on right now. So yeah, that looks solid, of course. But I mean, the only DDG product I've ever seen on Treasure Toys store is the MP and DDG like Goku and Frieza set. So I don't know if this will be there. I assume it will be since they posted this, okay? And then for DF posted some images of their Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. Wild card will be released later this year, it says right here. Of course, I don't know whether this is a fake page or whatever, according to Korean News and all that stuff. Couldn't tell you, but they posted this. I think this actually looks pretty cool, to be honest. But keep in mind that DF, man, like, their stuff usually looks better, if not always looks better, as renders than as physical products. Basically the opposite of Black Shark. I think Black Shark products as physical products look better than the renders. But for DF, the renders look better than the products. So expect the actual figure to not look as good as how you think this looks. However good you think this looks, expect the actual figure to not look as good, okay? But I think this render looks pretty cool, right? Then you've got this as well right here. Cool, cool, cool. I think that effect looks cool as well. And then we've got this right here, which is showing like the full contents of the box or the set or whatever. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 face sculpts, crossed arms. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hands. This effect piece, that effect piece. Cool. So a decent amount of stuff. Not as much as their like regular Vegito, but still a decent amount of stuff right there. All right. And then for Has, you know, the Future Gohan, Treasure Toys posted this saying this will ship next week. 2 new colors of the Future Gohan figure. So you've got this, which I think is Dragon Ball Heroes. Okay. And then you've got this, which I believe is supposed to be the anime or something. I'm not certain, you know. I think personally, if I were to get one of these, like say in general, I think the original color scheme is like my favorite color scheme for this. You know, if this didn't have like ugly Games Begin hips, then I'd probably, you know, like this figure very much. I do think some of the face sculpts aren't that strong, but overall, I think I would, you know, more or less like the figure quite a bit. And then you have this right here, this, okay, and this, and this. Now we have Lao Wei. So Korean News posted this here saying Lao Wei, and it's a head sculpt set designed to fit only newer releases with neck peg included for 3.0, recent new release of Goku, base form, and Super Saiyan. Okay, so after discussing with Presentative, I assume they meant to say representative perhaps, it will have 2 sets and special bonus item when ordering 2 sets similar to HMYR and GM. Okay, 5 face sculpts each, head sculpt each with neck peg connector each set, solid head sculpt set, and translucent head sculpt set. Okay, they'll be updating the finalized images when production finishes. It has been mentioned to be paused at the current moment, but I'll do my best to update on pre-order and availability. So I mean, like, you know, these face sculpts here, like they're really, there's not much variety. I guess there's no, I don't know. I mean, these 3 right here look really similar. This looks happy. This looks teeth gritted. But these 3, I mean, these 2 look almost completely identical. I mean, I guess it could be neutral and smiling. And then this one, I don't know what this is. So yeah, I feel like there's just like, these especially are just too similar to each other, I think. So I don't know. But the image is also very blurry. So I don't know how it looks in like high quality, okay? So there's that. But if I had to like go with, let's say, Black Shark or this, I would probably go with Black Shark if they also make a head sculpt set, for a decent price, of course. This one, though, I don't like the fact that there's no yelling expression. As I've said before, I think for Dragon Ball figures, man, for Dragon Ball head sculpts, you need neutral, yelling, and teeth gritted. As long as you have those three, then you could add other stuff. But if you don't, if you're missing one of those, dude, and all looking forward, by the way, all looking forward, unless you have those three looking forward, I will probably not buy your set. I'll probably not buy your product because I just hate the fact that one of those is missing. So I'll probably not be a customer of yours if you're missing any of those, which I consider to be like basically essential face sculpts, okay? They also have this image here, I guess showing like the translucent hair, the kind of shiny thing. I don't really see the point personally of translucent hair for base form. I feel translucent hair works better for like Super Saiyan or whatever because they're like powered up. You could have like put a light behind them and have their hair glow and stuff like that. But base form is like, I mean, you know, they usually don't have the energy around them and stuff like that in base form. So I feel like solid hair works better for base form. I also prefer solid hair for Super Saiyan, but I think translucent hair or transparent hair works better for Super Saiyan and stuff like that, you know? And finally, we have this image here with a question mark. I guess that is like the bonus thing, you know? Dude, if the bonus is yelling, that'll be very, very annoying. I'd be like, dude, how can you make yelling a bonus? So this better not be a yelling face sculpt as a bonus, dude. And I mean, based on like the jaw there, I don't know if there'll be even be a good yelling face sculpt because the jaw doesn't seem very, you know, far extended or anything. I don't know. But this better not be yelling, okay? Now for LS Studio. So there is quite a bit of controversy going on regarding LS Studio, okay? Now, I will not... I've decided to not show the names of the persons who posted these things, as well as any comments that I show. I won't show the names of the persons. Mainly because regarding LS Studio, there seems to be this kind of, I guess, mentality going around about, oh, they're trying to lay low, they're trying to, you know, keep quiet or whatever, which doesn't make any sense. I'm going to talk about that later. So to basically not have people, you know, get too much publicity if they don't want it because of that whole secret idea kind of thing, I've decided to not show their names here, but you know who you are if you posted this stuff. And I didn't hide your name to not give you credit. I hid your name just in case you are like, you know, thinking about that whole secret kind of stuff, all right? But you did post this online, so I did want to highlight this and talk about this, all right? So, this post right here, let's see. Okay, so this says, is that the same post? No, different post. Okay, so this post right here, this is a screenshot of Treasure Toys telling someone about the LS Studio Gohan. Dear valued customers, we regret to inform you that due to a series of uncontrollable objective factors, such as unstable supply chain, high mold revision costs, and failed IP compliance review, the manufacturer has completely canceled the reproduction plan of LS Gohan figure. Please kindly cancel your relevant orders, and there will be no restock or reissue of this product in the future. Now, this directly contradicts what I've heard people saying that, I think someone said Courier News posted on his Instagram story saying that this figure is delayed, not canceled. I did not see that story, and when I saw a link for it, it said like the story was gone or whatever, so I couldn't see it. So I don't know what exactly Courier News said. I'm just telling you what I saw someone say, okay? Now, this right here, I will say this. Do not ever pre-order anything from LS Studio ever again. Do not do it, okay? Do not do it. At this point, I am pretty firmly convinced that LS Studio is just a massive scam, okay? Now, months ago, we know there were the rumors that, first of all, the first rumor is that they were raided by Bandai, you know, the manager was arrested or something, that kind of stuff. Or Black Hole Toys was arrested, something like that whole thing, right? And then the other rumor that I knew about was that basically, you know, Black Hole Toys / LS Studio, which are apparently the same studio according to like the information I saw, did not pay the factories to manufacture the product. So they took money from, like, let's say distributors, but did not give money to the factory or factories to produce the product, and instead just like disappeared or whatever, right? Now, from the moment I saw like LS Studio Gohan up for pre-order again, I did mention that it didn't really make sense to me, because like, if you were rated, how are you selling the same product again? And if they weren't rated and they stole money from people, then why would like Treasure Toys or Kang or whoever do business with them again? Like, why would you do business again with someone who stole money from you if that's what happened? I guess, for example, if they might have been like, oh, they didn't steal it, they just didn't communicate for a while, and now they've returned and are communicating properly, perhaps. But the whole LS Studio thing doesn't really make any sense, because if they were rated by Bandai, right? If they were rated by Bandai, and the whole idea of them trying to like, oh, trying to lay low, trying to be quiet or whatever, that doesn't make any sense, to be completely honest with you, okay? And this is why. If you were rated by Bandai, right? Think about this logically. Like, actually just think logically here. If you were rated by Bandai for making unofficial Dragon Ball figures, right? Why would you then put up the same exact product for pre-order again? Why would you do that? Like, logically speaking, just like think for a moment here. Logically, why would you do that again? The exact same product. It's not a different product, not a different character, the exact same product. You would get rated by Bandai and put up the exact same product for pre-order again? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any logical sense. And here's another point about that. They didn't even change their name. It's not like Kong that has like 20 names at this point, right? They didn't even change their name. How could you get rated by Bandai, the police are involved in all this stuff or whatever, dude, and you didn't even change your name? Someone who's trying to lay low, someone who's trying to like, you know, be quiet and stuff, doesn't keep the exact same name and sell the exact same product, or put the exact same product up for pre-order again after getting rated. Like, that makes no sense. You don't get rated by Bandai, the police and all that stuff, and then your way of, you know, laying low is to keep the same name and put the same product up for pre-order again. That makes no logical sense at all, okay? No logical sense, okay? None. So I do not believe that nonsense. I would say this regarding LS Studio. Don't pre-order anything from them ever again. Don't pre-order from them at all. Don't do it, okay? If they actually release a product, if they release this Gohan and it's like in stock, available, shipping now, someone has gotten their Gohan or whatever, then okay, I'd be like, okay, then you could buy it. Now you can buy it. But as far as pre-ordering and stuff, dude, do not pre-order LS Studio. I do not advise that at all. The whole situation makes no sense, no logical sense, okay? You don't get rated by the police, you don't get rated by Bandai, and keep the same name and sell the exact same product again. You don't do that, okay? That makes no sense, man. So here's another screenshot. Treasure Toys right here, saying, "Dear friend, hello. Would you like me to tell you the latest news?" Oh, so this one here says, this was Treasure Toys' response when I asked about when LS Studios Beast Gohan, I guess, is shipping or something. So it says, "Dear friend, hello. Would you like me to tell you the latest news? We had originally agreed with the supplier to ship in June, but the supplier kept delaying and eventually stopped supplying goods altogether. We got so angry that we argued with the supplier, and now we can't ship anything because the supplier has no materials. So I kindly ask you to cancel the order." Okay? So, now regarding whether you should cancel your order or not, that's up to you. I guess if I had bought this, if I had pre-ordered this, I would probably cancel my order because I'd be like, you know what? I'm not pre-ordering anything from them anymore. If I see an actual product released, then I might buy it. But as far as pre-orders go, LS Studio, I would not pre-order anything from them. I would not do it, okay? So yeah, there's that. Yeah, same thing, just, yeah. Here's the third one here. This post here saying, LS Studio canceled Beast Gohan. Just got message from Haro Toys that my Beast Gohan was canceled. And remember, as I mentioned before, Big Dino Reviews, I believe it was him, he said that the manager of Haro Toys store used to be the manager of Treasure Toys. So I don't know if there's some, you know, connection between them. I don't know if that's true or not. But they both Haro Toys and Treasure Toys are documented here, basically telling people to cancel the Beast Gohan or saying it's canceled or whatever. All right. So yeah, let's see. Where's the rest of that there? Okay, so continuing, let's read this. Let's see. Just got message from Haro Toys that my Beast Gohan was canceled. Man, this is disappointing. He is my son's favorite character and transformation. Was going to be an awesome birthday gift. Anybody else get this notification? And here's a screenshot. It says, Dear customer, we are sorry to inform you that the factory has canceled the production of this product. Please cancel your order. Thank you for your understanding. Now, if Courier News did say that this is not canceled, just delayed, then that contradicts what these people are saying here. Treasure Toys says it will not be produced in the future. Okay, this right here says it is canceled. All right. So why, according to what I saw online, why would Courier News be saying something different than these stores here? And even Courier News even collaborates with Treasure Toys. Like Courier News is an I think an admin, no, and moderator in the Treasure News group thing. Okay, so why would Treasure Toys say it's canceled and then Courier News say something different? Okay, doesn't make any sense right there. Doesn't make any sense right there. They should have, I would think they would have the same information, the same sources or something like that, you know. So I don't know what's going on there. So you see two different stores, Treasure Toys and Haro Toys store, asking people to cancel their orders of the LS Studio Beast Gohan. Okay. And then here are some comments, I believe, on this post right here. And this person said, yes, this is legit. It's delayed till November at the earliest. Now, I don't know if people have looked at a dictionary recently, but delayed and canceled are two different things, okay? If something is delayed, that means it'll be produced later. If it's canceled, that means that there are currently no plans of producing it. Like it's done. It's canceled, right? If it wasn't canceled, it'd be postponed or delayed, that kind of stuff here. So what this person is saying here contradicts what Treasure Toys said, and they explicitly said, let's see, they even gave us more clarification. They explicitly said, okay, there will be no restock or reissue of this product in the future. Okay, they said completely canceled the reproduction plan. Completely canceled. No restock or reissue of this product in the future. Okay, that is not the same thing as this right here. It's delayed till November. If it was delayed till November, why is Treasure Toys saying no production, no reproduction in the future at all? Okay, makes no sense, man. That doesn't make any sense right there. So do not, you know, I'd say just don't buy into the information you see. I wouldn't really trust, I wouldn't trust anything of what any of these people are saying. Like, I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on, but whatever's going on, it doesn't make any sense, and I want nothing to do with it as far as my belief goes, okay? I don't know if Treasure Toys is lying. I don't know if Courier News is lying. I don't know if the person in this comment section is lying. I don't know if they're not even necessarily lying. They're just misled, or they've been lied to by LS Studio. I don't know, okay? I don't know what's going on. I would not advise you to pre-order that thing ever again if you ever see it ever again. The only way I'd recommend buying that product is if you see it actually release and someone has received it. Someone in the US preferably, not like some Chinese reviewer or something like that, okay? And then this one here, this other comment, the only news I know is they are trying to stay low, but not a canceled project, okay? Once again, contradicting what Treasure Toys said and what Haro Toys Store said. They said the factory has canceled the production of this product. They didn't say delayed, but this person said it's not canceled, and then trying to stay low. Once again, I'm going to mention this again. You don't try to lay low, okay? After getting raided by Bandai, allegedly, raided by the police, allegedly, you don't try to lay low after getting raided by keeping the same name and putting up the same exact product for pre-order again. That's not how you lay low. If that's how you lay low, then I would have to say you're not really employing a lot of brain power. That makes no sense at all, okay? Now, I have no beef with these people here who commented or whatever. I'm just using this as an example to get my point across, okay? I don't know these people. I have no beef with them or anything like that. So don't go around saying, oh, beef, blah, blah, whatever. Nothing like that, okay? These are just comments that I'm saying what they're saying here contradicts these stores, and the whole situation makes no sense. The whole idea that they're trying to lay low does not make any sense either. You don't keep the same name and put the same product up for pre-order again if you're trying to lay low. You just don't do that. That makes no sense. Let's now move on to Red Leaf Studios, okay, posted by Zealous Zenkai. So we have this image here of the Broly head sculpt, or a Broly head sculpt that they're working on. Let me get a closer look here. So this is basically talking about like 4th of July and stuff like that. Let's see. While many of you who are American are preparing to celebrate your upcoming holiday, I am preparing the news dump content in the meantime. I am gathering all necessary information and photo reveals for you all to see. I hope you can bear with me for the time being because I want these reveals of new projects and new prototypes to be not just informative but very fun. Happy 4th of July to those who are celebrating their country. I look forward to surprising you all soon. Credit to GM Studio and Red Leaf for each great head sculpt respectively for my Super Saiyan team. I have to laugh because I don't know if they intended that, what I'm thinking of. Like basically they said credit to GM Studio and Red Leaf for each great head sculpt. So is this not a great head sculpt from Bandai? No credit for them, you know? I don't know if they intended it to like sound that way. But that's kind of funny, you know. Bandai didn't get any credit for this head sculpt here because, of course, I mean, I would say personally, very poor job. You can see my review. I don't think the head sculpts for Dangerous Private Vegeta look very good. Now, if you add good shading to them, they actually can look pretty solid. And I do plan potentially to make a video in the future showing how a lot of SH Figuarts figures can look, how good they could look if Bandai wasn't a lazy, scamming, scalping company, okay? So yeah, not great in that current form there. But yeah, you got the Broly. Let's see. Now, the picture is very low quality, kind of pixelated. Can't really see it very well, but it might look closer to the renders than before. I'm really not sure. I do like the hair color though. Like, I really do like that hair color. It does look like the Cell Saga, Cell Games hair color, man. So that, I love that hair color personally, okay? Now, I don't really have any plan to get these head sculpts because they're for mainly the superhero body. I don't have the superhero figure. I have the Broly and the armor from the movie, from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. I have that figure. And I mean, if I were to get anything from this set, it would possibly have been the base form stuff, but the base form head sculpts seem to be only pearlescent, so that might be a reason why I decide, you know, I don't really like pearlescent. Although, is that really base form though? Because I think his hair is standing up. When his hair is standing up, that's more like the Ikari form, not the base form, because base form his hair is going down, so I guess it's more Ikari form. I don't know, but we'll have to see. It's not a very clear image there, okay? Then we have this as well, right there. So, does it look more like the renders? I'm not sure. The image is still a bit fuzzy. You know. I think right here it looks fine. Not you know, as far as the face sculpt goes, not like absolutely amazing or anything, just looks, you know, like a fairly normal, you know, SH Figuarts style, third-party style face sculpt. Not like incredible to me. I do like the hair color. I think for Red Leaf, I think that their Janemba is the thing I'm looking forward to the most. I think the face sculpts for that looked basically exactly like the movie and stuff, at least what they showed before. The sculpt of the body looks awesome, at least the render that they showed. So as far as Red Leaf Studios, I'm mostly looking forward to their Janemba to see how that, you know, ends up being as a figure. So yeah, I don't think it seems that for the Broly, they didn't put like as much like extreme effort into this as the Janemba stuff. So I'm more looking forward to the Janemba personally, but I do like the hair color of this. I think the face sculpt, at least this right here, from what I can tell, it looks fine, but it doesn't look like, you know, amazing artistically necessarily. You know what I mean, man? So we've got that. And then for Wukong modeling. So these right here, newest clothing pieces for kind-hearted Saiyan, featuring clothing, rubbery pieces replacement, and accessories based on Green Monster, Arc, and Saiyans. I assume the Green Monster is Piccolo. And you see here Courier News collaborating with Haro Toy Store. So once again, why would Courier News be saying something different from Haro Toy Store, you know, regarding the LS Studio Gohan stuff? Anyways, so this right here, these look, you know, they look fine to me. They look fine. Kind-hearted Saiyan. If they had, you know, I guess replacement legs for the ugly hips, I might have thought about this or something, but those ugly hips, man, I'm trying to stay away from those for the most part. So yeah, there's that. Now YGMW, final thing here, they have now released their manga colored Vegito, which I don't think Vegito was ever shown in this color scheme in the manga. So this is like, they're now making Vegito figures that don't even exist. Like, I guess they've made everything they could possibly make, and so they're like, all right, we've made every Vegito ever in the history of the world. What can we make next? I know what. We can make up a new Vegito. So they've made a new Vegito that doesn't even exist. YGMW, man, I think, dude, all they make is Vegito, right? I think so. I think all they make is just Vegito, 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 Vegito. Okay? And I think YGMW is OC Toys with a new name. So OC Toys, of course, as far as I know, they made Vegito, 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 Vegito. They should just call themselves like the Vegito Studio, okay? Because that's all they make as far as I know. I don't know if they're making anything else. But you've got this. I think it looks pretty cool though, to be honest. I like how it has like a kind of a matte look to it. I think the face sculpts look better quality than their other stuff, which is kind of unfortunate because it's like, why does the manga colored one, this odd thing that doesn't even exist in the actual anime or manga or anything like that, why does that look better than the Vegito that we see in the show? You know what I mean, man? So yeah, you got that. Let's see here. Newest variant finalized images releasing around late summer. Well, Kang has it in stock right now, and so does Treasure Toys. So I guess late summer it was like, you know, brought forward or whatever, you know. Let's see, another image here, and it actually includes some Super Saiyan like face sculpts and stuff, which I think also look better than the stuff they've made before, although the images are pretty low quality. They're not like, you know, crisp, pristine quality. Let's see, you've got this right here, okay, you got that, and then we've got this, right, cool. And then this right here, it has the like, you know, glove hand thing, windswept hair going on there, right? You got this right here. Don't ever, if you were a Dragon Ball character, don't ever point at yourself. You're gonna get mollywopped in like the next scene, okay? So that always happens to Vegeta, right? When he points at himself, he gets mollywopped. So don't point at yourself in Dragon Ball, okay? Then we've got this right here, looking at all the accessories and stuff. It's a good amount of stuff, man. You get a lot of value here. So I gotta say, you're getting a lot of value for your money, I think, with this figure. So there's a lot of stuff included. Really, I think that's pretty good value right there. So good to see a studio offering what I think is pretty solid value here. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so who posted this? Courier News, right? Saying newest variant finalized images. Here's a full accessories and set showcase. Everything in the set weekly fusion version will be shipping next week, okay? And I mean, Treasure Toys already has it saying buy now, and Kang also has it saying buy now. They don't say pre-order or anything like that, okay? And you got this right here as well. Okay, and then yeah, they posted saying it's officially out, okay? So you got that right there. Cool, cool, cool. And you got this, some boxes, and this as well. And the note here, available at Kang and Treasure Toys. So let's now move on to AliExpress. Keep in mind that if you want to get a discount on AliExpress, I currently have a discount code for orders over $26.60 US 148. This is an affiliate code, just so you know. I may, earn commission if you use this code, that kind of stuff. All right. Let's see. So now, the Black Hole Toys Majin Vegeta, it does not say pre-order at Treasure Toys anymore, and I actually see the code on this listing in my affiliate interface thing. So the discount code should work for this if you want to get a discount on this stuff. Yeah, right there from Treasure Toys. Treasure Toys as well has another listing for that, but keep in mind the regular blue version is not available here. It says right here, sold out, the blue regular version, and over here the blue regular version is not even there at all, just blue battle damaged, okay? And I also see the discount code for this listing. Next, for this one, Kang. Now these do say pre-order. So Treasure Toys says buy now for these, right? And for these right here, it says buy now, but Kang still says pre-order. So don't know why that is, but I don't see the discount code available for this listing. For this listing, I do see the code though. Black Shark Goku. Once again, I'm not sure what 02A includes, what 02B includes, because the stuff that's circled here is also shown on the individual listings, and I don't know whether those fighting face sculpts will be, included with this or not. I really could not tell you. DF Vegito. So as we saw, they've now revealed a Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, but they do still have this Super Saiyan base form and Super Saiyan Blue Vegito up for pre-order here at Treasure Toys. Okay, $73.81 free shipping. That's the price I see, and I do see the discount code available for this. This one, no discount code available though. GM Studio. Now these say pre-order, but I have seen some posts, I think, saying that these are released. I guess they're released in China. They might be, released for America soon, perhaps, or something. So these still say pre-order. This is from Kang, $41.13 for each there, or $80.69 for both. And then Treasure Toys. Now this does say buy now, and no discount code here either. This one does say buy now, $42.64. It doesn't say pre-order. Okay, and Combine. Oh, so look at this. So you see, this is what. Check this, right? Okay, so look at Kang. $41.13 for this. $41.13 for this. The two pieces together, $80.69. That is not much of a discount, okay? If you're buying the two sets to get a bonus, it should be quite a decent discount, as because you're buying multiple or whatever, that kind of thing. So not much of a discount here, but Treasure Toys does have a fairly decent discount, because $42.64 plus $42.64 is gonna be what, 84 plus what's 64 by 2? I don't know. More than $84, okay? But they have the two pieces here with the bonus for $74.75. So there's actually a somewhat decent discount. I think the product itself is overpriced to begin with, but at least if you buy both with the bonus, you're saving a bit more than if you buy from Kang over here. So Treasure Toys, I'd say, has better. But what is the Treasure Toys has a better offer for this set if you want all of these, okay? Now this listing here is kind of strange. No discount code here either. But this listing here, the image right there is GM Studio, right? But it's actually seemingly for the Future Gohan figures when you click here. So I don't know what that's about. I'm not sure whether to include this listing in the description and stuff, because it's really weird. I don't know why GM Studio's there and then you have Future Gohan here. So I might not include this in the description, okay? Because it's kind of a weird listing. Don't know what's going on with that. And then we have this listing here, no discount code either. This is the Future Gohan stuff. So these Future Gohan figures I mentioned before, are, you know, they should be releasing soon, okay? It says ship on July for the, like, I assume anime colors one and the Dragon Ball Heroes one. But the, like, regular original version is available. Right now it says 12-hour ship, okay? And the price, I'm still surprised, man, that the price of this has not gone through the absolute roof yet. I do expect at some point in the future it will, but it is lasting for more time than I expected at a, you know, somewhat reasonable price here. Let's see, although there's no, like, you know, $10 off going on or anything like that. So $77.60, let's say, I don't know, you give them like a $10 shipping break, bring it down to $67.60, $20 shipping break, $57.60. I don't know. I don't think the price is like super horrible, but it might be a bit high, you know. Let's see now. So this Beast Gohan here, $89.59. Free shipping. Oh yeah, this is the LS Studio thing, right? So I would not recommend pre-ordering this. As I said before, I would recommend waiting until you see this actually ship, if it does, and someone in America preferably has received their copy. Then I would say you could buy this. You know, if you still want to pre-order it, that's your choice. But I do not recommend doing that. I really don't. It just, the whole situation makes no sense to me. It just makes no sense to me, okay? Now, the YGMW Vegito, and I see no discount code for that either, just so you know. Okay, no discount code for this Gohan, no discount code for this, and no discount code for this YGMW Vegito here. But Kang does have this. It just says buy now. It doesn't say pre-order. $64.38 free shipping. Dude, considering all the stuff that you get with this, I think that's a pretty solid price, man. So you get a lot of stuff with this figure. So I think they're offering pretty good value. Regarding the Future Gohan, yeah, the price for that is probably way too high. I know there's the whole factor of like, oh, it's a custom figure, basically. They make less than Bandai. They're like, you know, producing it independently and whatever. So I do try to consider that to some degree. But it is, you know, it's basically natural to compare the prices of these things to the prices of figures you would see at like Walmart, Target, even Premium Scam Die or whatever, you know what I mean, man? So they can't really avoid being compared to like official products, you know? So if an official figure was $77.60 free shipping with this amount of stuff, I think that's probably a bit high, probably a bit too high. You do get a bunch of face sculpts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get 10 face sculpts. So it's not like the worst I've ever seen, but without the whole, like, you know, AliExpress $10 off going on or whatever, the price is quite a bit up there, I would say. So there's that. Let's see, this one, the YGMW, and I see no discount code for this either, but they do have, Treasure Toys has the YGMW Vegito, the manga colored one right here as well. $66.29 free shipping. Slightly more than Kang, so Kang has a bit lower price there, and Treasure Toys also has like all these other Vegito figures here. I mean, dude, these people have made so many Vegitos, man, it's just insane. And they have this right here, this bonus thing, so that's really cheap. $9.87 free shipping, dude. That is interesting. That's a really low price. $9.87 free shipping, dude. That is crazy. Wow. Okay, I guess shipping that costs, what, $1, dude? I don't know, man. I don't know. Or I guess AliExpress might subsidize shipping or something. I don't know how that works, man. I don't work at AliExpress or sell them there, you know? But anyways, guys, that's it for the Dragon Ball figure recap. Be sure to subscribe if you want to be updated on Dragon Ball figures. And be sure to use dbfigs.com if you want to make collecting much more convenient and much less stressful. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.